Hello, welcome into TICKER Ventures. We've got one of Australia's most successful and passionate entrepreneurs here every week to give another entrepreneur some thoughts, ideas, and a bit of extra focus. Fred Schebesta is the founder of Finder.com. If he's not running on the beach, he's here with us on TICKER News. Hello, mate. How are you? I don't know if you're frozen or if that's just a magic trick. Oh, he's back. I think we've got you there, Fred.
Yeah. We're good.
We're good. We're good. Good to see you. Good to see you. How are you today?
Good. I'm
well.
awesome. I'm dialing in from my phone, and my phone is having a little conniption, so it's doing
That's
its
all right.
best as it possibly can.
No, we're here. No, everything looks fine there, mate. Let's get into it. We've got a special guest today. Michael Liedtke is the founder and director of Photo Anywhere, which is an app for ordering photos of anywhere in the world. It's powered by the freelancer.com marketplace of 50 million people. Michael is an engineer by trade, and he wants to learn about app marketing in particular. Michael, my man, come in with us. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Fred is here, so fire questions at him. We have a conversation. It's very relaxed, but we want you to learn whatever you need to learn. So where do you want to start, Michael?
Excellent. Yeah. So Fred, I appreciate you coming on and helping me out. My experience with building and launching Photo Anywhere has been mainly on the engineering side. This was my pandemic project. I learned some technologies like Flutter and Firebase to kind of get this out the door. And now we're just kind of transitioning to bringing it to market. And there's a lot of challenges in this area, and this is where I'm less familiar. So there's a couple of questions I have, specifically around how do you take an app to market? There's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of noise. How do you cut through the noise? And also, how do you identify the kind of right product market fit? So there's a lot of potential users of Photo Anywhere. It could be for, there's a lot of B2C cases. For example, getting photos of, I got some photos of my dad's hometown in Dusseldorf, Germany. Or maybe genealogy. You want a photo of a particular grave so you can add it to your Ancestry.com profile. There's a lot of other B2B cases. For example, any company that has a product on a shelf, they might want to get a picture of that. Let's say you're Cadbury, you want to see what your product looks like in the shelves in Paris for something. Or maybe you want to do some secret shopping. You're in McDonald's, you want to go out there and figure out, audit your stores. Is the ice cream machine on? How many people were seated when you entered the restaurant? These sorts of things. So there's a lot of different use cases, but it's almost like it's too broad. So in terms of app marketing and kind of zeroing in on how to grow this business, I could definitely use some help.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think the first step is to choose one. It's not super easy to make that choice, but one of them is got to be one or two, even maybe three. You might try and put some low cost experiments up and trial some things. So I'll give you an example. If the you said the product shots or the store shots for particular franchises is the key first step that you want to take. Well, go and meet a few of them and ask them and give them a free trial to use it and see what happens. And then you basically what you're saying is in two ways: is how do I get product market fit, and then how to market it. Well, the two things are they're actually built into the same thing, right? So product market fit, the market that you're targeting, whatever that is, you want to market and then your product itself, you're obviously developing that and where you're actually going to channel that. So I think those two things are actually the same question. It's just that they don't right now. So my submission, you're just going to have to go and test, because you could sit and try and calculate it as best as you possibly can, but at the end of the day, if you've never done it before and no one else has done it before, that's sort of what's going to happen. I think what's really interesting is if you look at the story of companies. There was a company called, it's not Deliveroo. There's another one in the US. It's like Deliveroo, it's like Uber Eats. There's obviously many of them, Menulog and all those kind of things. There was one of those companies, and what they did is they started off by going around restaurants and interviewing them and asked the restaurateur, what's the biggest problem you've got? We've got this new product. It allows you to book tables and things like that. Anyway, so they went from restaurant to restaurant showing this technology and those kind of things. And then just as they were leaving, one of the restaurateurs rushed out the door and she said, you know what? I've actually do have a problem. And one of my problems is this giant book of orders. She literally just unfolded this orders fell out everywhere. These are my home delivery orders. And if you could build a system that sorts that out so as that I can just get it done, all delivered, it's all ready to go, that'd be amazing. She ran a cupcake shop, by the way. And so that business and that idea and that product market fit came from discovery, came from how many customers have you gone out and prepared to go out to and literally just ask them their problem and see if you can make a fit. I think in the story of Canva, they interviewed 100 first customers. They literally called them up and asked them all their problems and all the challenges they had. I think in the same way, I used to sit on the chat at Finder. I used to literally live chat with customers on our website. It was me behind the chat. I was asking them questions and finding out their problems. I would write articles and content at the back of them. It was amazing. And I think the absolute answer to your question is actually not going to come from, it's going to come from a customer. It's going to come from someone that gives you a specific insight and you're like, ooh, here's a real problem. And then you'll find out and ask, oh, do these other people have these problems as well? And then you can go and solve that problem for a whole bunch of people. And then marketing the product then is quite easy because you know who that customer is. You know where they are. You know what their challenge is. You know how to frame it. And that's kind of how I sort of see that potentially going forward.
So Michael, I'll just jump in, just in reference to what Fred said. Do you know about the customer? And if not, can you go and find out? How would you go about that?
Yeah, so I think it comes back to focus. And as Fred said, experimenting and finding different types of customers. There's, we have launched and we're getting, a certain amount of traffic and a certain amount of, orders coming through. And from those, beyond doing like an NPS survey and so forth, it is important to go out and talk to these people. How do they find this product? How do they start using it? And, was it successful in solving their particular issue? Again, I think that focus is what I'm kind of missing right now on zeroing in on what are the kind of really use cases where it actually does solve a problem and is actually really beyond a novelty, something that is kind of valuable to a person's everyday life or their business.
So how can we focus then? Fred, what would you think? Like what's that step? How can we actually achieve this?
Well, I think one of the things that obviously, like we talked about, you need to go and speak to a whole bunch of customers and take a thesis on what those really valuable things are. And I think what I wanted to submit is there'll be lots of problems that customers will determine and give to you because everyone's got problems. But I think the real answer is how can you find the ones that are actually really valuable? So, there's probably lots of people who have problems, unboxing large furniture and setting it up. But is that like a really valuable problem to go and solve? Maybe. But I think one of the things that is, and I was thinking about your service, is that drill. If we can stop that drill, that'd be amazing.
That's all right. We can hear you. We've still got you.
One of the things I was thinking about, I'll just tell you another story that might be interesting for you, Michael, is that hedge funds need data. And they love to trade on data. And that data that they get is extraordinarily valuable because they make lots of money from it really fast. And what I was thinking about was if you could speak to hedge funds and ask them, is there a series of photos that you could take that would be valuable for them? For example, what if you went to a hedge fund and you said, I'll take a photo of
Oh, I don't know if Fred's coming back. Sometimes the connection just like plays with us. We'll see if he comes back. Anyway, Michael, in terms of what's being said so far, I guess for the next step, it's finding that focus. So can you take away some steps for you? Like what would you like to do next?
I think, what I'm hearing is definitely talk to the customers, kind of zero in on what is valuable. These are two important steps. Just related to what Fred said about hedge funds, we're actually talking to a hedge fund blog called Zero Hedge about giving them free access to the service and allowing them to go out and source kind of information, insights, pictures of what they're researching. And we can watermark those photos, and then they can just drop them into their articles, their publications. And that's kind of an awareness building strategy we have. Yep. So that's something that's in the works, after that industry. I suspect that we may find good fit with certain verticals, with certain industries, but not others. So I think it's the process which Fred has described of kind of focus and finding value that is important. And then once we can kind of establish that, we can double down on what works.
Yeah, that sounds great. And in terms of just finally, I guess going and speaking to people, whether they're customers, potential customers, to get more information, is that something that resonates with you? Is that something you've done before?
Definitely, yeah. And partnerships I think are important as well, whether it's with hedge funds or consumer product companies or any other sort of industry where there's value. I was talking to a colleague who used to work at Philip Morris, and they said that they spent millions of dollars validating that their products are displayed on the shelves in convenience stores appropriately. So maybe there's a conversation to be had there.
Well, Fred's back. Fred, I think we've got 1 minute left. Is Fred still with us? Yeah, he is. So just a final comment maybe from you, Fred?
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's great. I love the service. It's like you've got a really good capability, and now you're trying to find who has the extreme demand for it. And I think it's a really interesting, it's an inventor's problem, right? You've invented something, and now you need to find who needs it. And sometimes, that's with any invention, you can work from your capability out, or you can work from the customer's problem backwards, and both ways work. So I wish you the best of luck, and keep going, because I think it's actually a really cool service. And yeah, I don't have any photos I need to take every single day, but I'll think of something.
Awesome.
All right, thanks so much. I really appreciate the advice.
There you go. Hopefully some inspiration and motivation to keep going. Michael, we'll stay in touch. Fred, thanks again for your time. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
Good stuff. That's another episode done and dusted for Ticker Ventures. If you are an entrepreneur out there and you want some advice from Fred, just contact us, contact Fred, or us here at Ticker News. We'll catch you really soon.
This is a new era in news.
These are unprecedented times.
We're storming the Capitol!
TICKER, the 24-hour streaming news channel.
A major development for investors in Bitcoin.
We aim to break news faster than anyone else.
Global news from a new perspective.
To not take sides in politics.
Climate change has become a political plaything.
To inform.
This just into the Ticker newsroom.
To discuss.
Joe Biden is the person for this moment.
From 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. We are there.
You're watching Ticker. Let's get started.
With news, not views.
Tune in live anytime.
Ticker News. Be part of the change.
Right around the world, stay informed and in touch.
On YouTube, Facebook, and download the app. We're Ticker, and we're streaming news now.